Welcome back to Sweet Home Chicago Sports. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Illinois Fighting Illini ahead of the 2024 football season. The Illini finished last season at just 5-7 and 3-6 in the Big Ten. This just a year after they were 8-4 in 2022, so a bit of a drop off in last year's performance. So you'll see the schedule here from last year. Really never could get it going, and then some kind of sad losses those last two weekends at Iowa and Northwestern. And of course, getting blown out at Purdue, that was a tough one as well. So some of the problems last year with the offense is they never were able to establish the run. Even though they finished fifth in the Big Ten in points, they were ninth in rush yards, and 12th out of 14 teams in rushing touchdowns with just 12. Only teams behind them were Iowa and Michigan State. And they were third in pass yards and fifth in pass TDs, so a little bit getting away from the Brett Bielema style of run first type of offense. So they'll need to establish the run this year if they want to get back to that form they saw in 2022. As for the defense, they didn't really create many. Well, they created more fumbles last year than interceptions, but teams were able to pass over them a fair amount. They finished tied for last in the Big Ten with only 7 interceptions on the year. They finished 12th in points allowed. They were only better than Purdue and Indiana. And those issues on defense were in both the rush game and the pass game. They finished 11th in the Big Ten in both rush defense or rush yards per game and passing yards per game. You'll see two of their games here that from last year or 3 games they gave up 40. So that's something that's going to have to change this year as well if the Illini hope to get back into bowl contention. Take a look at this plot I've put together to kind of get a feeling of where Illinois falls within the Big Ten. I understand UCLA, Oregon, Washington, and USC are added to this plot, but of course we're not in the Big Ten last year, but I still wanted to add them just to include where they'll be or where they are, because they'll be in the conference this year. Illinois, we see, falls kind of in the middling area on offense and towards the bad defense area, which would be the top right of this plot. You want to be bottom right where you've got the good offense and good defense, where the Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, UCLA, Oregon teams are. And then, of course, there's Iowa in the bottom left. Let's take a look at depth charts for this Illinois squad. Luke Altmaier returns as the quarterback. Played most of the season last year, missed the last few where we had the John Paddock experiment, I guess. Some of the top players I'm looking for, Pat Bryant, returning wide receiver. He's going to be another big part of what this team does. Zachary Franklin, transfer from UTSA, will probably be the number 2 receiver. Other receivers I'm looking at a little bit down on here, but Kenari Wilcher probably be a slot type of guy that may be able to help in the passing game as well. And then again, we're talking about those running backs where we really need to establish the run this year. Fagan is a beast of a guy, just huge. He'll run you over. He needs to be the goal line guy for sure. And Lowry and McCray will also be getting carries. I've heard Bielema mention Khalil Valentine and maybe even Jordan Anderson in that mix for getting carries. Offensive line, fair amount of returners, should be pretty decent. Apparently, Josh Cruz has taken a big jump this offseason. And one of the biggest gets in the transfer portal for the Illini, J.C. Davis, the left tackle from New Mexico. He was one of the biggest transfer targets for many teams and definitely for the Illini. Huge get there. Should help tremendously with pass protection. Does hurt to have Cole Rusk out for the year with an injury at the tight end spot, so that is going to be something to focus on. I'm not sure if Henry Boyer and company can fill in enough, especially with the passing game, but yeah, we'll see. Defensively for the Illini, Terrence Brooks, corner, was probably the biggest get in the transfer portal for the defense. He's from Texas. Strain probably more of the nickelback, but have him here just classified as corner for this dashboard. The question with this defense for me is the line, the defensive line. Will they be able to stop the run after losing Jerzon Newton and Keith Randolph to the draft and to the NFL? Who's going to step up? Do they have enough left there with T-Raw Edwards and company on that line? One of the other players to watch on this defense is going to be Seth Coleman, a linebacker. He's going to be a big part of what they do, along with Gabe Jackas here. Again, I think it all starts with the line. From there, we'll see. All right, let's dive into 2024 schedule for the Fighting Illini. Projected 5.5 wins. They're in the rankings here on the far right column of this schedule. Illinois, for reference, is 63rd. And this schedule ranks 67th in FBS in strength of schedule. So let's kick it off. Week 1, Thursday, August 29th. Illinois takes on Eastern Illinois, their only FCS opponent of the year. Shouldn't be challenged too much in that one. They'll stay at home to take on Kansas, team that they really struggled with last year in Lawrence. That's going to be a tough one. 26th ranked team. Very good quarterback in Lawrence. And then third straight home game to start the year. Central Michigan should be a W, easy W there. So moving into Big Ten play, start with back-to-back away games at Nebraska and at Penn State. That's going to be tough. Winning either one of those, if they could win one of those, that would be awesome. Then they return home. They've got Purdue, team that blew them out last year on the road. And with the proximity there, really like to get that one, especially before they've got Michigan the next week. What a tough stretch there from October 19th and then October 26th. They're home against Michigan and then on the road at Oregon. After that, they're back home for 2 more weeks, Minnesota and Michigan State. Those 2 games I think they've got a really good shot at before finishing with 2 on the road at Rutgers and at Northwestern. That'll be at Wrigley Field. Finish out the season. Again, 5.5 wins. So Eastern Illinois, Central Michigan are 2 of those wins easy. You're hoping to get Purdue and Michigan State. That gives you 4. And then if you're getting, 1 or 2 out of the Rutgers, Northwestern, and Minnesota games, probably, that gets you over that 5.5 wins. That gets you 6. It's not that tough of a schedule, but it's a questionable schedule with this team with a really tough back-to-back there in the middle with Michigan and Oregon. If they can pull off one against Kansas, they'll be looking a lot better. For me, a good season for the Illini is over that 5.5 wins, 6 wins, full eligibility. I would hope for more, but that's what I'm going to set the bar at for a successful season. I appreciate you watching this video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.